Welcome, everyone. Welcome back, and welcome back to me for having been on like a whole week long workcation. Just got back from a conference, and like if you have been following my stuff, you know like what it is. But just like I just want to like tell you, I've got words, I've got thoughts, I've got beef, okay, and I've got tea. I've got all the things, and so. Welcome to this Shits and Giggles episode, which is going to be me kind of like talking about some things, a thing. I don't even know how many things I'm going to end up getting into on this, but let me just like say this up front that the next few for Shits and Giggles episodes is probably going to be a number of things that was like brought to my attention that I just like can't stand. And so let me just jump in on this, okay? And let me talk about how I feel about conferences like this. Okay? So I found out about this conference which took place over 3 days in Las Vegas. I found out about this conference over a year ago. And I found out about it because at the time, a year ago, I was mentoring with someone who ended up reposting or sharing something from one of her clients about this conference. And because this conference had something to do with health, I, of course, jumped at it and I was like, hey, this could be my opportunity to become a speaker. And so I went and I reached out to this conference and said, hey, are you guys looking for a speaker? Now, I fully understand that as somebody who is brand new to speaking, I probably was not going to be paid to go to this conference to speak. But I was like, you know what? That's okay. Everybody's got to start somewhere. Eventually, I'll probably end up being able to, get paid for other gigs. Um, I was right in that they were not going to pay me to come to this conference, but I could pay for the privilege to go there. And not only to go there, but I could also pay for the privilege to apply for a an award and pay for the privilege to be on a panel while I was there. I said, sure, let me fork over almost 10 bands to be at this conference and to apply for an award and to be on this panel. They, run my stuff. They run my stuff through their different people. End up reaching out to me probably about a week later. They tell me that I have won their Excellence in Health Care Award. And so I was like, great, wonderful. I'm so honored. This is wonderful. I'm so excited to go. Book my tickets, end up like getting my mom like all set up to also be able to be my plus one to come with me. And a year comes around and we go. Guys, let me tell you how I was floored by the level of egos and narcissism that took place during this conference. Guys, when one of the things that really irritates me about conferences like this is that number one, everybody wants to sit and act as if they have not paid for the privilege to get there. Guys, don't get it twisted. I paid to be able to be on the panel that I was on. I have thoughts about that panel. I really, really do. I have thoughts about that panel. But I paid to be able to be on that panel. I also found out that I was not the only recipient of the Excellence in Healthcare Award, meaning I also paid for the privilege of getting that award. Because I paid for it, I got it. Guys, and yet you walked around this conference and everybody's acting as if they were hand chosen. You were hand chosen, paid to fucking be there. You paid to be there. Stop acting as if this is some like grand thing that you were so special out in the world that somebody saw your shit, thought it was dope, and decided to like bring you in on this. No, 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 no. No, no. That's not the way that it went. And yet, the level of like egos and narcissism and flat out disrespect, guys, I had more than one person. I wish I could tell you that it was just one person. No, no, no. It was more than one person that stopped me in the middle of me like walking somewhere or doing something, completely minding my own motherfucking business. And these individuals stopped me, asked me about my business or what I did. Like they would ask, "Oh, what do you do?" or "What's your business?" I'd be in the middle of telling them, straight in the mid sentence, and they turned away from me and went and like called to somebody else, full on like over, having trying to have another conversation, and then acted as if I was just I had walked up on them. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. Like this is X, Y, or Z period. Oh, I was appalled. Guys, I was appalled by the level of disrespect that grown ass people had for other grown ass people, professionals. These are people who have letters upon letters upon letters behind their name, doctors, doctorates, people who you would believe that because they've been in the professional space for so long, they know how to act around grown folk. They did not. It was atrocious. And I wish I could say that this was just like my opinion. No, no, no. It's not just my opinion. This is also the opinion of my mom, who was trailing behind me all freaking of the 3 days that I was there. Guys, after the first day, I was so sad and upset and frustrated by the lack of just humility that should have been in this space, and like the lack of wanting to have true, honest conversations with people, that I couldn't go the second day. I literally could not go. I was so upset by how my panel discussion ended up going on day one, that I legitimately, that between that and how disrespectful people were and how dilated everything was, I could not go the second day. So this is something else that like really ended up flooring me about conferences like this. So number one, as I said, like y'all have paid for the privilege of being here. Stop acting as if like you are in some way, shape, or form like God's gift. Like you may be, but it's you being here is not because of that. You may be God's gift, but you being at this conference, no, you paid for the privilege to be here. But the other thing that really got me was how disorganized and dysregulated it all was when, because now I know how much I shelled out in order to be here, and knowing that there are other people who are considered like, platinum, gold star tier patrons of this thing who are giving much more money than I did in order for the privilege of being recognized and noted and all these things, right? You've paid double, if not triple or quadruple the amount of money that I paid to be here and to help like sponsor this stuff. You still, the conference still was so dysregulated. You're telling me that after all of the money that you have now received, you can't figure out how to organize, how to get people who are on a panel mic'd up so that they don't have to be passing around a microphone. And before you guys go and say, well, maybe they didn't have mics. Oh no, they had mics. No, no, they had mics. Why do I know this? Because the first panel that was on stage, they were all mic'd up. But instead of having an MC that is going to stand up there, number one, on time. Yeah, that's right. They were running late. Not by 5 minutes, not by 10 minutes, but by like 20 minutes. Yeah, I get it. Like shit happens. Like people in time and whatever. But like this is supposed to be a conference. This is a conference that is not, this is not the first year of this conference. No, no, no. This is not the second year. This has been happening for many years. And you're telling me that this is how we operate? This is how dysregulated this is? Not cool by me. Not cool at all. So not only are we running late, we don't know how to mic up people so that we can actually like keep things running smoothly, but we're also incapable of recognizing that when you have a panel of individuals, you probably shouldn't have one person on the panel trying to be moderator while also trying to be able to be a guest on that panel. Like, it doesn't cost you any more money or any more time to have the panel people give the questions that we'd like to be asked, and then have the MC be the one asking those questions. It's not like the MC has to come up with questions. No, we've already given the questions that we are comfortable with being asked. We had to all meet the people on the panel. We had to all meet on a Zoom call and had to have a discussion about how we wanted or what we wanted the questions to kind of be, and then submit them. Why not submit them to the MC or to one of the individuals who would then give those questions to the MC for the MC to be able to ask those questions so that all of the participants on the stage could actually participate? Yeah, riddle me that one, Batman. So now we're behind time. We have MCs that are doing basically nothing. We have people on the panel who are not able to actually fully participate. But then we have people on the panels who think that it's appropriate when on a panel to lack respect for the other people on the panel. Now, this didn't just happen on my panel. This happened on other panels as well, where you had one person out of five or six who decided that they were going to take that moment to, instead of answer a question in a timely manner so that other people could be asked questions and that the discussion could end up going, you're going to sit here and take 15 to 20 minutes of a 50-minute time slot and talk about your own personal story. Guys, it would have annoyed me less if the people who decided to be so disrespectful weren't also keynote fucking speakers. You guys, uh, I was so appalled. I was so appalled. Yes, multiple people who were on panels who had also paid for the privilege to be a keynote speaker. And let me tell you guys, if I had to pay almost 10 bands to be on just a panel, I got approached, like, I want to say probably about a month and a half ago, to be a keynote speaker at this conference. Okay. And I was told that in order to be able to be a keynote speaker, I had to pay $35,000 in order to do it. Yeah, that's right. They weren't going to pay me. I had to pay them. And in order to do it, I had to pay $35,000 in order to be on a keynote speaker. So you're telling me that here we have somebody who not only paid to be a keynote speaker, but paid also to be on a panel. So they paid way more than that, right? Because they're doing both. Is now taking out time, massive time, to tell their motherfucking story when they're already going to the very next day give a keynote speak. The disrespect, the level of disrespect that existed from so many of those individuals. Now, y'all might be sitting here listening going, Abigail, this is so judgmental of you. I don't mother effing care. I don't. There is right and there is wrong, and this is just flat out wrong. And the fact that it was allowed. There was nobody checking these individuals to make sure that they were being respectful of other people's times, respectful of the people who were sitting out in the audience, who are like, I came here to listen to this panel to get a better understanding of the different thoughts and ideas circling around a particular theme. Guys, the panel that I was on was women in leadership in healthcare. Yeah. And I had somebody up there who was not a healer, who simply owned a business that like oversees like different versions of healthcare, like daycares and elder, like long-term care facilities, talking about how she had a near-death experience and that changed her whole perspective. And that's how she ended up going and becoming a person who really believes in energy work, and how finding alignment with your in yourself is what needed to occur, that's what needs to occur for everyone. That was her story, and that's what she sucked up about 20 minutes of time talking about. Guys, I'm floored by the level of disrespect that happens at things like this. So when people say that they are going to these like conferences and they're making it seem like they're God's gift, I want you to know they probably paid to be there. Okay, number one. Number two, the level of egos and unhealedness that exists in these functions is like so astronomical. It's beyond. And the level of dysregulation and disharmony with the actual like organizers is also so large. So I just and I should say, like, I should probably shouldn't put this out on every sort of conference. I'm sure that there are other conferences that are actually fantastic and wonderful, and you can show up and you can be held and led and supported through them, and the people who are participating have been like thoroughly vetted and like understand the process of like how to do this. But my mom luckily was a great sounding board for me during these 3 days, because she has been to many conferences. My mom has held leadership positions in some of the largest corporations in the United States, and because of that has needed to go to conferences like this, because she has held positions of authority and power. And so at being able to ask her, like, is this normal? Is this normal? Is this what actually like people experience when they go to shit like this? Is this what always happens? And she's like, the thing is like, it happens at a lot of them, but it's not supposed to be normal. She's like, I have gone to plenty of conferences and had been at many conferences where the level of egos and unhealedness doesn't exist, where the disorganization doesn't exist. You might find like one or two of these components in any particular conference, but to see them all coalescing in one place is actually really disturbing. And I was like, thank you for validating me and letting me know that I'm not crazy for this being my very first conference, feeling like this is just not the way that it's supposed to go. So I round this whole thing out by saying, yeah, this trip, this workation was anything but relaxing. It was anything but super enjoyable for me. There were elements that were really great for me, but there were certainly things that were put in my path that made me understand that like it just this was not the way that it should be done. I definitely got a bug up my butt about holding my own conference and being able to do this in a way that was regulated, harmonious, lacked egos, lacked, the disrespect, had really good networking opportunities, and really good food and good, like, just good vibes. Like, I know that that's probably like a terrible way to talk about it, of like the vibe aspect, but truly, honestly, this was not it. This was not it, y'all. So I will be back. I will be back with more about what was like brought in front of me. There was a lot of lessons that I learned. I'm excited to like share them with you and hear your thoughts on, have you guys been to conferences where you maybe had to shell out a lot of money and it turned out that it was just not, it wasn't good. It wasn't for you. It wasn't good. I'd also love to hear if you've ever been to conferences that you really enjoyed, mostly because I'd love to know that they actually exist out there. And yeah, I'm also really excited to share with you guys what it is that I learned about myself in this, and I learned quite a lot. So stay tuned for that. Next week, I'm hoping to have a return guest on. We're hammering out when we can get him on to really kind of revisit a topic that we've talked about before. And so I'm looking forward to that. And yeah, thanks for being here, guys. I am always so appreciative of you guys showing up and listening to me and my rants on these Shits and Giggles episodes. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Love you all. And we will see you next time on the next Breath of Life Conversations. Bye, y'all.